A new historical thriller shines the light on a woman from the Victorian era that we need to know more about. Sarah Raughley joins us now with more on the Queen's Spade. And this was based on an actual woman who was brought to Queen Victoria from Nigeria.
Yes.
As a collection. She was, as one captain said, an excellent specimen of her race.
Yes.
Who was she?
Omoba Aina was actually renamed Sarah Forbes Bonetta when she was found in Africa by Captain Forbes. And he brought her to Britain and, you know, gave her to Queen Victoria, who was the Queen of England at the time in the 19th century, gave her to Queen Victoria as a gift. Right.
So slavery has apparently been abolished at this point, but there's still this collection of specimens from around the British Empire.
Right.
And Omoba was one of them.
Right. There is still this logic around owning Black people's bodies, and at this time, this was the height of British imperialism. So the British Crown went around taking artifacts from Africa and from Asia, from India, et cetera, but they also took people. They also took children that became, you know, part of the British family, whether they wanted to be or not.
Or not. Okay, so she became like a goddaughter of Queen Victoria.
Yes.
And you use this as a great fantasy revenge of how she tries to get back. And this is where we slip from kind of reality into your specialty, which is Victorian fantasy.
Right. I mean, I had done a fantasy series
The Bones of Ruin.
Yes. Yeah. Simon and Schuster, The Bones of Ruin trilogy. And that's also set in the 19th century in London. And as I was doing research for that book, I had learned about this Yoruba girl, Nigerian girl, just like me, who was, again, taken from her homeland and gifted to the Queen. So she was really renamed. She was stripped of her agency. She was stripped of her identity, and I wanted to give her voice back. So I fictionalized her story by making it a revenge thriller.
And you said you were kind of writing this during the Bridgerton phase kind of thing. So there's lots of, like, it's all about, you know, making the royal family lose face.
Right. You know, and I know, I love the British royal family in a lot of ways, but at the same time, there was a British African princess before Meghan Markle, a British Black princess, and seeing sort of how Meghan Markle was treated, and then going back and then seeing how Omoba Aina was treated, it sparked off so many different feelings within me about, you know, conventional wisdom says that there aren't any people of color in the British royal family, and yet here was Omoba Aina, but she was erased from history. So I just wanted to excavate that history.
Right, and it's kind of spicy. It's considered to be a YA, but I was like, I like this.
Yeah, it's actually like, it's an upper YA.
Okay.
For those, so don't give it to your fifth graders.
Yeah.
But you know, it's an upper YA, and a lot of adults like it too. So I would say it's an adult crossover.
I really enjoyed reading it. As mad as it made me, like I was just like, you know, really rooting for Omoba, because I was like, Omoba, I was like, yes, like get in there and do what you have to do to kind of reclaim your space.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, again, I think there's this idea that there weren't any people of color or Black people in Europe in the 19th century or before then. And in reality, history and research shows that we've been in Europe for hundreds and hundreds of years. So again,
just the stories don't get told.
They don't get told. I mean, I learned about her well past, you know, when I was doing my master's at McMaster University. Yeah. So I use my writing as a way to also tell the stories that haven't been told but need to be told.
Right, and you're going to be talking about how you tell your stories at Gritlit this weekend, actually. You're heading up the Spotlight series, which is a big deal at Gritlit. So you're putting the spotlight on lesser-known authors.
Yes, I mean, I used to be a lesser-known author. So first of all, being in this position to actually introduce new authors is such a such an honor, but at the same time, I really want to pay it forward because I know that I wouldn't be here without the people who gave me a chance. So
you also teach at Lakehead University.
Yes, shout out to Lakehead University and everybody. Yes, I teach at Lakehead University, Aurelia, and I teach post-colonial literature and creative writing in the English department, and some really bright students.
That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, Sarah Raughley, thank you very much for sharing your story behind the Queen's Spade. And again, you can see Sarah this weekend at Gritlit on Saturday and Sunday. We'll get the links up on our website at chch.com/morninglive.